Show on the radio 925. Mike Davis is founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Neil Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Mike, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time, sir.
Thank you for having me back.
Well, Mike, what do you think is going to come of the FBI raid on John Bolton? What are you hearing on the inside, Mike, if I may, sir?
If people think that raid was simply because John Bolton wrote a book, they are going to be in for a big surprise when that search warrant becomes public. So the people right now clutching their pearls or pretending to clutch their pearls and saying that Trump's a tyrant and Kash Patel's his lackey, buckle up. It's going to get interesting.
Yeah, can you give us a hint of what you think is there? It's Bolton of all people, man. It was like, and did he? Is it he giving away classified documents? I mean, and let me first ask if you can leak anything that's happening, and what is your opinion, Mike? I think that's the best question to ask, sir.
I would say that looking at the facts of this that are publicly reported and what the FBI did, this is a clear-cut case of espionage.
Wow. So he, with foreign entities, do you think, Mike Davis?
I don't want to comment any farther than that.
All right, clear, fair enough, but we appreciate that. But John Bolton, man, weird cat, man. He used to come on the show and seemed okay, and then somehow, what happens to these people when they get into those positions, Mike Davis, do you think?
They let the power go straight to their head, and then they combine that with their Trump derangement, which causes severe political illness for Trump's opponents, and then they just go mad, and they do it in embarrassing ways. They get sanctimonious, they get sloppy, they think that they're above the law, and now there are consequences.
Yeah, and we all wish Taylor Swift the best with Travis Kelce, but how weird was it that James Comey goes out and talks about Taylor Swift, head of the FBI? Has this guy lost it, do you think, Mike?
I don't think James Comey ever had it. I think he's always been a nut job. So, this is just continuing a pattern of James Comey being a nut job. There's a history of a lot of nut jobs running the FBI, and I think James Comey fits into that mold.
The perp walk. People want the perp walk. They want Brennan. They want Comey. They're looking at Hillary even, Mike Davis. You think we're going to see anything like that as this administration, continues? You think we'll see perp walks of a lot of these people that we think committed crimes? Yes.
I have been talking to you and 5,000 other media hits for the last 3 years since the Mar-a-Lago raid, and I'm going to make it my mission at the Article 3 Project over the next 4 years to make sure that there's accountability for this unprecedented, unnecessary Republic-ending lawfare against President Trump, his top aides, his allies, parents, Christians. When I say this, I'm not bluffing. I'm going to make damn sure it happens.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it because, man, we are watching it and the lawfare against it. And let me just go to the Mar-a-Lago raid. When it happened, and I can remember like yesterday, and when it happened, and this Jack Smith guy, they went down. Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland, they said raid Donald Trump's home and go through the drawers of Melania. I mean, how insane was that? How wrong was that? Then where's Jack Smith now? I mean, is anybody going to have a consequence for that, do you think, Mike?
Yes, I promise that will happen because I'm going to make that my mission for the next 4 years. I would say this, that my good friend Jason Redding Quinones just got confirmed as the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. That's where the Mar-a-Lago raid happened. Mm-hmm. I would also say to these lawfare Democrats that covering up a conspiracy continues the conspiracy. So the statute of limitations is not going to be your friend. Lawyer up. Justice is definitely coming because nobody is above the law. I think I used all the words that they used against Trump and his op-aides and his allies, but I promise justice is coming. I'm going to make damn sure it happens.
Yeah, and it just knocked me out, man. When I think about Fannie Willis and I think of the mugshot, and I posted it saying, "Who's got the last laugh now?" Just last week when it's 2 years since the mugshot, since they bring a former president of the United States, anything down there in Fulton County, Georgia. Yeah, by the way, I got to give you credit. Mike Davis was the guy that said you were against this. You talked how ridiculous and how insane and how what seemed to be illegal this was from day one when that all happened. And I remember it like yesterday. What's going to happen with Fannie down there in Fulton County? Is she going to be disbarred? Any consequence there, Mike Davis?
I think that all of these Democrat lawyers, judges, prosecutors, witnesses, and other operatives who participated in this lawfare against Trump, his top aides, and his allies are in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 241, conspiracy against rights, when you politicize and weaponize intel agencies and law enforcement to go after your political enemies for non-crimes. That is the definition of conspiracy against rights. This was run out of the Biden White House. Really, it started under the Russian collusion hoax under the Obama White House with Hillary, Vice President Biden, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, so many others, Barack Obama himself. And I would say this to Barack Obama: you have presumptive presidential immunity for your actions while you're the president of the United States, but you certainly do not have presidential immunity for continuing to participate in a conspiracy after you leave the White House. So Barack Obama should lawyer up as well. So should Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, so many others. These operatives on the outside of government who are working with people like Jack Smith and Jay Bratz and Fannie Willis and Tish James and Alvin Bragg and Chris Mays out in Arizona, who named Trump as an unindicted co-conspirator. These people better lawyer up, because I'm gonna make damn sure justice is coming.
Mike Davis, if I may, when I think I'm watching Donald Trump doing such a great job as president, and him being lighthearted in the cabinet meeting yesterday, and seeing him at Bedminster and seeing he's on top of his game, he's relaxed, he's confident, and there's guys like me that just go, well, they lost and he won, and that's the victory. But how important is it to go, and not to use the term go after, but how important is it for these people that tried, that, in our opinion, committed treason? This is Piscopo talking now. I really feel they did, the way they went after Donald Trump. How important is it that these people that went after Donald Trump with that lawfare have consequences, sir?
If we do not find these people and give them the most severe legal, political, and financial consequences that we can, this will happen again. This could never happen again. This is the biggest scandal in American history. You had Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, the FBI, the intel agencies make up the Russian collusion hoax to help Hillary Clinton's campaign and hurt President Trump's campaign. And when they failed, they used the Russian collusion hoax, the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, to attempt to destroy Trump's presidency. They hobbled his first 4 years. I was there. I was the chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Even the Senate Republicans were running around saying that Trump was a Russian asset, right? It was insane. And I said at the time in 2017, collude to do what? What did he collude to do with the Russians? And that people thought I was a Russian mole, Russian plant in the Senate Judiciary Committee because I asked that simple question. It hobbled his presidency. He spent 4 years fighting these investigations. They impeached him twice for this nonsense. And then when Trump declassified this Crossfire Hurricane material and tried to get it out publicly before he left office, they stopped him. They said he was going to violate the Federal Privacy Act. He was going to commit a crime. So Trump said, do your Privacy Act review. and get out these documents. That was the day he left office. Well, guess what? They didn't do the Privacy Act review. They did the Mar-a-Lago raid, and then they did the ballot twice unconstitutionally. Then they tried to bankrupt him for non-fraud, and then they tried to take off his head when Biden underfunded Trump's Secret Service protection twice and said that Trump was the gravest threat to democracy and to put a bullseye on his head. What the hell did Biden think was going to happen? It was obvious there were 2 assassination attempts.
Yeah.
There is going to be accountability for this. There has to be accountability for this because this is how republics fall. These are third world Marxist hellhole tactics. So these third world hellhole Marxists need to go to prison.
Yeah, and Mike Davis, while we have you, and thanks for laying it out in stellar terms, because we have to understand that. How important was it? What if Donald Trump didn't win? Is the question, Mike Davis. How important was it that we got Donald Trump elected as president of the United States? What would have happened if Donald Trump was not president? You know, Mike?
Well, I would say this. I went to 13 years of Catholic school. I'm not a very good Catholic, but I don't know how you can watch that assassination attempt where he turned his head and by a millimeter and a millisecond, he was spared.
Yes,
I don't know how you can't think that wasn't God's intervention there. And I'll say this. Trump is on a mission to save America and save the West. Because if Trump is not there stopping 20 million illegal immigrants coming into our country and reversing it, we are going to see America and Europe collapse from these Islamists who are taking over Europe, these third world Marxists who are taking over America. They're overrunning our social services, our schools. President Trump is saving America. He's saving the West. And if he does not succeed, we're all going to fail.
Mike Davis. Mike, you know, when we have you on the show, you get these tens of thousands of hits. We see that. People are listening, and we appreciate you being honest and appreciate, you looking into all this and staying on these things. Because, Mike, people forget about it. People forget about it. They'll just move on. Consequences are absolutely in dire need, and we appreciate you staying with it and joining us, Mike. Please come back when you can, sir.
Thank you.
Mike Davis, I'm founder of the Article 3 Project, right? But also, and I keep repeating this because it's important to see what Mike has done. He knows this. He's been former law clerk for Justice Neil Gorsuch and former chief counsel for nominations for the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary. And he's so right. If Donald Trump was not elected, where would we be? All of that, in my opinion, treason that Mike was just talking about would have unfolded in this great country. And I believe, as Mike said, that Donald Trump is there to save the United States and to save